Solidworks first.
We're drawing this.
Is your phone pink?
Yeah.
Look at you getting in touch with your feminine side.
Oh yeah.
So, like we said at the beginning, this pops out first, right? So this tells you whether you want it in inches or in millimeters. Oh, you had a question, Jose?
Yeah, on the test, you create the chains, and everything. No, just create it right in this.
Just put the drawing in Solidworks Z faced up, ready to go to start doing the chains and everything. We're not gonna get as far as doing the chains, right? That comes in next class, because it's impossible to do this without adding other axes, right? Because I can't just put this on the mill and try to do all the features 3 axes only, right? I'd have to turn it and do more axes on the sides and everything else, right? Like I said, this is going by, we're gonna go by inches. Now, SolidWorks does have certificates on the website. You can stop that real quick. So, all right. Oh, and the test on SolidWorks is millimeters, just so y'all know. So you are gonna have to flip them over your mind. But it's kind of good because it's mostly solid rounded numbers, right? 12, enter. 15, enter. That's it.
So we would just change it to.
Yeah, so you can change it over here on the bottom right, millimeter to inches and pound. But you guys saw the test that they were giving. All of the numbers that they give you here, they're in millimeters. You see that? So yeah, try to convert that into inches while you're taking a 4-hour test. No. And then they have stuff like this, A divided by 3. A divided by 3 plus 15, right? So what it's meaning is A divided by 3 would give you X. So A divided by 3 would give you this value of this major diameter. Does that make sense? So they try to throw you curveballs like that because sometimes the engineers are going to tell you, hey, we need this to be 3 times smaller than this. So what's it going to be? A, whatever length you gave me, right, divided by 3. So that's what that's going to be, right? That's why they do it like that. Okay. Moving on. So we're going to do this drawing. So like we said, it's really easy to do in SolidWorks, right? Because we have a lot of control on our planes. So I'm just gonna go to sketch. I'm gonna go to sketch, right? I'm gonna go ahead and do it on my top plane because it's a top view, pretty much, that we see right here, right? So as I mentioned before, with SolidWorks, it's not like eSprit that you have to draw a line, tell it, hey, you got this much further, draw another line, you got this much further, right? No, with SolidWorks, I could just click line. I want to start there. I could bring it out. Make sure that 180 is there, correct? Come up. Bring it down here. Make sure the line lines up. I see that dashed line. And bring it down. Too easy. So now that I have that drawn, I'm gonna start entering the values. So on my left, up and down here, I can tell that that's 3 inches, right? So I'm just gonna click that line, bring it over, 3 inches. This radius, I'm gonna make it first. So I'm gonna go to fillet. How much is it? 0.6. So I'm gonna click this line and this line. Hit the check mark. Notice that by me doing that, I got this relation on it, correct? So after that, I'm gonna come down to Smart Dimension, Horizontal Dimension, click on this one, click on this one, look at my print, and that's 3.5, right?
3.5.
Yeah. That's 3.5. So in SolidWorks, sometimes I have learned that adding an extra line and then just deleting it afterwards helps you a lot, right? So I look at this part right here, it says 65 degrees, correct? So if I just make another line here, bring it over, then just click Smart Dimension, click this line, and this line, it gives me my degrees, correct? 65. Boom. Now, since I don't need that line, trim it. So now I need to do this radius right here, which is 0.3. Sketch fillet, 0.3. This one and this one. Hit the check mark. Bam. That's my first body model, which is this one down here, right? Like I said, guys, don't try to do everything in one shot with SolidWorks, right? Because if you end up doing that, once you start extruding and all that other jazz, what's gonna happen is it's not gonna know what to extrude, because it's really just kind of thinking, if it's not on the same plane and it's not through holes, don't put it on the same drawing, right? Have multiple ones so you can control them. Not only that, but let's say the engineer comes later on and says, hey, I know the drawing said it was 1 inch thick, but now I want it 2 inches thick. It's too easy to go back in SolidWorks if you have it separated to change that, right? If you have everything together, it might affect something else. Does that make sense? So now in this case, I'm gonna go to Features, Extrude Boss. So it doesn't matter if I go out or in, but I know that that is 1 inch, correct? 1, enter, there it goes, hit the check mark, boom. Now, what do you guys want to do? Y'all want to do this one or the window feature? This one's easier.
Yeah, start with the easier.
Start with the easier one? Okay. So, I'm going to bring it back to my view. And for right now, I'm going to go back to Sketch. I'm going to tell it, hey, I want it on this plane, right? So we see how it comes up right down here, correct? So now from there, I'm going to draw a circle first. And I'm just going to put it anywhere I want. So now if I look at my print, it says that that circle, the radius is what?
5.5.
0.5, so this is
1 inch circle.
1 inch in diameter, right? Now, a lot of people say, like with SolidWorks, you would want to get it already in position when you draw it, right? But here we have Smart Dimension. So I'm just going to go horizontal. So from here to here,
1.2.
thank you, Corey, 1.2. And then from here,
1.4.
at the bottom, is 1.4.
Too easy.
There we go. Now I know that it's right at the level that I want it, right? So now we have that little slant on the circle, correct? So I could grab this one, wait until that line comes up, and this one, just connect it, hit escape, trim my entities, boom. Too easy? From here I go to Features, Extrude, that one is 1/2 inch. Do my little check mark.
I'll be damned.
You tracking?
So for the angle and circle, you just did a line for like the little orifice?
Yeah, because I could tell, it should say 45 degrees on here, but it doesn't. But I know it's coming from that one to here. Does that make sense? So if it was a different style of degrees, maybe you'll just have to draw lines for construction only, and then base it off of that. Does that make sense? Alright, so now I'm gonna draw this little window up here. Like I said, Solidworks.
But if you look on the drawing, it also shows it's a 45 degrees.
Oh yeah, it does on the bottom.
Yeah, it's outside the
Yeah.
circle. It's just the lines look
Right
like
here.
they're faded.
Yeah, it probably had one of those dotted lines that
Yeah.
it came up
Bad print. Right part too dark.
Alright, so in Solidworks, drawing this window is really easy, right? All we gotta do is hit sketch, sketch, click that, right? Now I'm just gonna tell it, if I click on this, it's gonna change its view. Oh, no, dude, there it goes. Alright, so like we said before, Solidworks doesn't care where you put it, because we could adjust it with smart dimensioning, right? And if you look at this, look how it's at an angle also with that plane, correct? It's not up and down, it's with that angle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that helps you out immensely. So I'm gonna click on there. I am gonna click on corner rectangle and just make a rectangle. So now I'm gonna give it its values. So from here to here, it's how much? 0.25, correct? 1.125, correct? So the other one must be also 0.125, right? That gives me my width, correct?
Yeah.
So now, I see my drawing, and from this line to this line is how much?
3.3?
300 thousandths, correct? And then, so we gotta mess with this length, right?
Looks like it says 1.75.
Yes. So, remember guys, in SolidWorks, the solid black lines cannot be moved anymore, right? So they're stationary after that. If I wanted to change that 0.3 and make it closer, I just can't click on that and tell it, hey, I want you to be 125 instead of 0.3. I had to delete this one to be able to do that, right?
You can't just change that value.
No, because it's holding in place because I already told it from here to here is
Can you
0.3.
double click on it though to open the edit?
Yeah, or you could double click it and then change the value of it there also, right? But it's not gonna wanna change the value of it because it's a solid black line. We see how this one is blue, right? So this one can still change from the length of it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So if I grab my smart dimension now, and then I click this line, hit me with that number again, Corey?
You got 1.75.
You see how I brought it down a little bit? So now, everything is within accordance, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, since I like to keep stuff simple, I could go ahead and do the radiuses on that square, right? So in this example, it's 0.125, correct?
Typical. Yep.
So I just go to this fillet, I put in the 0.125, grab this one, this one, this one, this one, this one and that one and that one, hit the check mark, boom.
Voila.
So the only thing left to do is to add the depth, right?
Yeah, cut.
So I'm gonna go to features, extrude cut, and that value is a quarter, right?
0.25.
0.25, check mark, boom.
You got the pocket.
So obviously guys, if I was gonna add a hole on this, I would just click on that and then just position the hole and tell it how deep I wanna go, right? If I wanted to add a feature up here, like a boss, I would just click on that, do my boss, and extrude it out, right? If I wanted to add holes back here, I would just go to sketch, click that feature, put those holes in those locations, extrude cut, and that's it. Too easy, right?
So that's the whole part.
Huh?
That's the whole part.
Good. According to this print, we're done with this. Alright? So, now I'm gonna go to File, Save As, and I'm just gonna put
Part 6.
Test Review.
Just ready.
And save it. Now that this is saved, hopefully I can input it into a Sprint. Alright? So I'm gonna minimize that, open up eSprit.
It's the electronic sprite.
eSprit.
Yeah. Okay.
See, I still got the 2020 version of it.
And your SolidWorks is 2019.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so now that I'm in here, like I said, guys, try to get used. Well, for this drawing, you're not gonna need all this. But normally, this is the way this would look. So try to get it accustomed to being like this. Because if you work at a shop and they already have a screen, this is the way that everything's gonna look, right? These computers have the deep freezes, so automatically it resets its settings at the beginning, correct? So to make my life easier, right, I'm just gonna activate F11, push new, I'm gonna add my geo, and I'm gonna add my part solid. Now, I'm gonna go into my file. Open. Down here, I'm gonna go to SolidWorks. Now, notice that nothing comes up, right? Why? Because I'm in eSprit files, correct? That's why nothing came up. I love this quick access button. I'm gonna hit test review.
Must be nice.
See how my part comes out? Hit open. Oh, it's asking that because, so the layer should be done after you open it. That's why it's asking me right now, do you want to save your changes? Because I made those layers, right? So obviously I just made the layers and that's it, so I'm gonna hit no on mine. So when it comes in, guys, don't say, don't flip out and be like, hey, I don't see my drawing. I made it and it's not there. Well, if you use your Superman eyes, you can see that it's actually there, right? We just gotta go up here and hit this view shading. Does that make sense? So now from here, I'm gonna hit new, go to geo, hit new, go to part solid. So once I have that, now when I click on the solid, it comes up here in my key. So I'm gonna just change this to part solid.
What's the hotkey for the
F11.
F11?
For the layers.
Yeah, I was for the key part.
Oh, it's,
Alt enter.
Alt enter. Okay.
Make sure you're not active in any commands.
Yeah, like you were last time.
You also might want to hit F2
yeah.
while you're at it. I texted y'all that yesterday, I think. F2, F11, and Alt enter. That's your eSprit. That's friend.
And we know that F7 takes you to your Z0, right? So am I finished?
No,
No,
I gotta
right?
smash.
Because my part, it's saying that if this was on the mill, pretend that boss is right here. It's saying that if it's on the mill, that's the way it's gonna go under. right? Because that's Z0. So my part is facing right here, Z0, right? So it's pretty much saying that that's my Z0 under with the boss coming out here, right? So I need to make sure I know how to rotate it, correct? So, doing that, I'm gonna go to view. I'm gonna hit UVW. You guys see how that's my Z coming in?
Mm-hmm.
That's my X and that's my Y,
Should rotate it forward.
correct? So I gotta go to view, toolbars, orientate part.
That brings you over there to top right. Get that Z, baby.
Now, a lot of you guys are forgetting about sub-elements and hide, right? Make sure that if you want to click a face, because I have to click this face alone, right? So that could be on Z0. Notice though, when I click on it, the whole thing gets highlighted, right? I might want to go to Tools, go to Options, and change the color.
You didn't touch where your feminine side.
Mm-hmm.
See? There you
Take
go.
off sub-elements,
Make fun of my phone.
turn on hide. It was probably cheaper because it was out of color.
They were out of black.
Alright, so now, if I click this face, it's gonna ask me, are you sure you want that face? Left click again, yes. Now when I hit Z up, boom.
Takes off. But now that's not all the way up, I guess, on your work coordinate system in that corner down there.
Yeah, it's the bottom left now. So if I hit F7, now it's to my Z going down. But we could see that right there, it's at that 0 level. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
See how my
that's
Z right there is on 0 now?
But don't you want the bottom of the part up there?
No,
Oh, okay.
because that's what this is what I'm gonna touch off on my toes.
Ah, gotcha.
So I'm gonna touch off on my toes on top of the part, right? And then we're gonna start going Z negative when we start cutting it. Why is top not on there? I guess because we have it upside. There we go. So for your test, this is the way you gotta turn it in. With Z facing up. And I have it on the corner. So a step further, like Corey said, my WCS, right, would be on the bottom left, correct? It's not gonna be in the center of the part, because it's not a square part, right? So there's no reason to have it at the center, right? So this is all you have to do for your first test. Then you're gonna have to go to Save As, put Advanced CAD, Test 1, your name, and just email it to me. That's it. Advanced CAD, your name, so I know it's yours. Do not send it without a name on there. I'm gonna get about 5 or 6 of you. That's like texting somebody, hey, it's me. Well, hey, me, who are you?
I'm me, who are you?
Not you, you's off today.
No, you ain't.
Who's here? Who?
Why?
Advanced CAD.
Advanced CAD, because that's the name of the class, right? Advanced CAD cam? So Advanced CAD, Test 1, and then your name.
Your date, your social, your address, social security number.
The last 3 on your credit card.
Expiration date.
Alright, but that's it, guys.
That's all we're doing is for you, just putting you on the right system and turn it.
All of
This
your
is your
social-
first test.
Alright.
That's it.
Too easy.
Alright, go ahead and take a quick break, because I see some of you are going to use the restroom, and then we'll do the screen one. Just wait time to